Our lives are so busy with work, families, and upkeep that we are stingy with what we do with any unclaimed time. Or there is no unclaimed time, so we have to cut something out to make time for something else, like an online course. Welcome to the Laura Creates Courses weekly episode. I'm Laura Coulter, and I'm here to share with you insights and stories to help you develop your own effective online course. Each episode includes something for you to do and a way to interact with a community of people just like you. Welcome to episode 8. In this episode, we're going to take a look at adult learning principles. Today we're going to talk about adult learning principles. There are 7 adult learning principles, and we're going to go through each one and kind of talk about what they mean. So the first principle, adults must want to learn. Adults must have a motivation for learning. It's got to happen or they're not going to do it. And this motivation can be intrinsic or extrinsic. So an example of intrinsic is something that comes from within. Example, I want to be a better knitter, or I've always wanted to learn how to speak another language, or I want to be an expert in such and such field. All of those are coming from within. An extrinsic motivation is something that is an outside force that is giving you the motivation to do this job. For example, I need to get certified so that I can get a promotion, or I need to get certified so that I can be qualified to get a job. Another example would be, my doctor says I have to get my stress levels down, or I'll end up in the hospital. So extrinsic motivation. They don't want to do it, but from the outside they have to. The second principle, and these are in no particular order, is that adults will learn only what they feel they need to learn. There's never enough time in the day, week, month, or year. Our lives are so busy with work, families, and upkeep that we are stingy with what we do with any unclaimed time. Or there is no unclaimed time, so we have to cut something out to make time for something else, like an online course. That's why it's so important that a course be relevant. It has to be something the adult needs in order to give up some of their precious time. Principle number 3, adult learning focuses on problem solving. Say you want to learn how to make enchiladas. Do you start by learning the theory of cooking? No. You search for a recipe that has great pictures and relevant details to help you get through the tough parts. Maybe that recipe blog post also has some theory on it, the why of what you're doing, but that's not the focus. Remember the part about relevance? Adults only learn what they need to learn. You're concerned with making enchiladas. Once you make that enchilada recipe and it works out beautifully, you may go back and look at some of the why behind it, but only if you think it will help you in future cooking adventures. Relevance again. The internet has turned into a huge learning resource. I've used it recently to figure out how to take apart and put back together a recliner. I've had my phone sitting on the engine of my car playing a YouTube video on how to get the battery out. That was a tough one. We use it for what we need right then. The fourth principle, adults learn by doing. There's another way to look at the problem-solving principle. Do you remember sitting in school and reading all that background information in the textbook before the teachers ever let you touch any of the hands-on stuff? Adults don't put up with that. They work better if you give them a problem to solve within the learning and then move them through the solution after they have tried it themselves. Generating our own learning is powerful. One way to help learners generate their own learning in an online course is to give some basic information and then present a challenge. Course participants are given a chance to apply their learning to try to puzzle out the challenge. Then, in the next section, where they have to click to get at it, review how you would solve the challenge and some other possible solutions. This allows the learner to really engage with the material and gain some experience with it. And experience is its own topic.
Do you want a way to choose effective learning activities at your fingertips? Download my free ebook, Online Course Creation Made Easy, 25 Activities to Engage Your Online Learner, at lauracreatescourses.com. It's designed to help you choose the right learning activity to meet your goal. That's lauracreatescourses.com.
So let's move on to number 5. Experience affects adult learning. Every adult has a sum of experiences that no one else has. We've traveled some of the same roads, but our perceptions and circumstances make our experiences our own. When we learn new material, brain theory shows that we learn it more deeply if we can connect that new material to something we already know. That's where our experiences come into play. If a learner is a firefighter, then their brain will frame what they're learning in firefighting ways. I'm an educator, so when I'm learning something new, I connect it to what I know about teaching and learning. These connections are extremely important. They help the learning stick and move into long-term memory. But everyone has different experiences. How are you, as the course creator, supposed to connect to all these experiences? You don't even know what they could be. In the previous principle, where we talked about adults learning by doing, I mentioned putting challenges or problems for the learner to solve first, and then going deeper into the lesson and how you might solve it. Having the learner try first gives them experience with the problem. Now you have a shared experience to build on that you know all your learners have. You can leverage those shared experiences as you go deeper into the course. The 6th principle is that adults learn best in informal situations. As I mentioned earlier, adults won't follow a set curriculum that takes them through information they feel they don't need. They really don't have time to spare. That's one of the reasons that asynchronous online courses work so well for adults. They can work at them at their own pace and in their own space. They don't have to shuffle their responsibilities and schedules to be somewhere, whether it's stick and brick or online, at a specific time. Some online courses do run along a set timeline where all students enter and end together. While these synchronous courses are not as flexible as self-paced courses, they have the added benefit of building a community during the course. Discussion boards allow learners to collaborate and network. It's the course creator's task to make that community inviting. And the last principle, adults want to be equal partners in the learning process. Since adult learners seek out your course, they have a problem they need to solve. They see your course as a way to help them solve that problem. They understand that they will have to apply what they learned to solve their problem. In this way, you, the course creator, and the learner are partners. You research and develop content that you believe will help the learner in some important way. The learner consumes the content and decides what is important and useful to them and what can be ignored. Adult learners will not go through information if they feel it doesn't apply to them. Your job is to make sure that your course has what they need with very little of what they don't need. Since all adult learners come with different experiences and you want to address as many learners as possible, you'll likely have some information that one learner may already know, but another learner doesn't. If that information is a foundation for deeper learning, you need to include it. You trust the learner who already knows that part will skim through and move on without giving up on your course. Including specific learning targets at the beginning of each lesson will help your learner decide to keep reading or to move on. So let's recap. The 7 adult learning principles are: adults must want to learn, adults will only learn what they feel they need to learn, adult learning focuses on problem solving, adults learn by doing, experience affects adult learning, adults learn best in an informal situation, and adults want guidance and consideration as equal partners in the learning process. You likely recognize yourself in these principles. So now it's your turn. Think about yourself as a learner. Can you find examples from your own learning experiences that match with an adult learning principle or two? Jot down as many examples as you can think of. I've included the 7 principles in the show notes or the description if you'd like to refer to them. Then join the community conversation in the comments of the video. The link is in the show notes if you're listening to this on podcast. Share one of your examples and how it connects to one of the principles. I look forward to reading your example. I'll see you in the next episode.
If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell if you want to be notified when I post new videos.
Is it time for coffee? Gosh, I hope so.